Marshelle.
Hi, Bridget. This episode,
We're going to talk about
what are the things that are going on in our lives?
it's kind of like maybe this might be like,
Yeah, sorta, kinda.
life lesson.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm at home.
Yeah.
I'm stuck here.
That's what's different.
That's what's different. I'm still Bridget.
I'm still Marshelle Fair.
And this is still Yeah, Sorta, Kinda.
Sort of, kind of. I can't help being preoccupied by how it goes back and forth, but it says our names. It doesn't say it all at once. It just says it each time we're talking.
I think our view is slightly different.
Really? What do you see?
Our names stay there the whole time, but the light, the box around us is going back and forth depending on who's speaking. If you're just listening to this podcast, then you have really no context for what we're saying. Normally we shoot in the same space in a studio in Marcelle's home, but we are each in our respective homes. We're just going rogue on this since we're in quarantine in Los Angeles. We're not supposed to leave our houses or homes.
Supposed to. Not everybody's minding that, but yeah.
Yeah, some people are being pretty
Assholes.
selfish about that.
For sure.
Yeah.
It really is, to be honest. We were listening to this singer, my husband and I were listening to the singer. He sent you one of his, so you would know who I was talking about.
Rufus Wainwright?
Yeah, Rufus Wainwright. And he does a song a day. I can't think of what he calls it, but it's really funny. And he was talking about he and his husband or boyfriend, I'm not sure which, they live by Runyon Canyon, and they were going to go for a hike. They're like, nobody will be out there. We can get outside, get some fresh air. They said it was so crowded. They were like, that's unsafe. That's unsafe. So they went home and they were like, didn't do it. And yeah, it turns out everybody's still hitting the beaches. They're still overhitting the hiking trails. So now they're closing those down and closing off the parking and all that kind of stuff. So people fucking follow the rules. Otherwise, we're going to go into martial law or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the whole point of the sheltering at home is to like lower the incidences of illness happening so quickly that we overwhelm our medical system. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't be
I'm
dumb.
not laughing about that. I'm laughing because I knocked my mic and it completely fell over. Yeah, it's not brain surgery. I mean, just be mindful. I just can't believe how selfish
I think some people are just really caught up in whether or not they are concerned about themselves getting it. They're not thinking about the contagious aspect that you could be walking around and being totally sick with it, but and letting out and like getting your germs everywhere, and people that have immune compromised systems get it. People like my mom or my sister or even me in some regard. Like it's just
I was gonna say me too. Yeah, I mean.
It's kind of a weird time.
It is a weird time. I try to look at it in a positive way of like but you know what's amazing about it is that all around the world we're all experiencing it, and that could be unifying.
Yeah,
if you look at it the right way.
It's like this. Yeah, I think Unifying Potentials is really cool. I don't know. I don't want to get all political, but I feel like some of the stuff Trump said recently is really upsetting about the cure being worse than the cure being worse than the cause or something, basically saying that, well, if we, let the economy collapse, then that's going to be worse than people dying. So we might as well get things back and running as quickly as possible. And so now he's talking about wanting things to be back to normal by Easter, which is April 12th. Now, granted, I think that governors of each state get to determine ultimately what happens each state, but it'll just be very interesting. I think we should learn from Hong Kong, who was in lockdown and then started to integrate back to normalcy too quickly, and then now they're having a resurgence of illness, so I don't know.
They were on serious lockdown, dragging people away. That was intense to watch some of that news footage. Yeah.
There's a fly on my wall. Is that an ant? I don't know what that is, but that would not happen at Marshelle and Tommy's. Got it.
Oh, we just see a spider, the occasional spider over here. Yeah, I've been sick, by the way, so my voice sounds funky. I know they were saying I don't know. I think I might have had a mild case of it for a very long time because I just hadn't felt well for a really long time. I had a fever and this sore throat. I mean, a major sore throat. That's what was weird about it. And then a significant loss of taste and smell. And at first I was like, well, yeah, that's a cold. Like, you know, when I heard that, kind of sarcastic. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. I did notice the day before they made that announcement that it was a significant loss of, you know, I'm like, wow, this is like really profoundly different than before. And so I don't know, maybe I had a mild case of it. I don't know, but it's definitely intense.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, I do have a friend who's been tested positive for it, and she's like one of the most optimistic people I know, and so she's taking it all in stride, I think. But it must be so scary. I didn't want to bombard her with questions, so I don't know if she's like at home or if she's in the hospital or what. But it's scary times. It's scary times because of the economic and the sociological and the psychological elements at play too, because some people are really freaking out. Like, they don't know how to navigate the changes, and they're really unsettled. And I guess one of the things that I feel really good about is my ability to adapt to situations, and I feel like I'm handling this really well. Not to be like, oh, pat on my back, but more of to say like, wow, what is it that allows me to feel calm in this kind of like crisis, so that I can move through this world not feeling like I'm in extreme danger. And I think a lot of it is perspective and just focusing on the positive, but not being in denial of how crappy the situation is.
Yeah.
It's like there's a balance between those things. I'm not doomsday, but I'm also not like, I don't know. Because I have talked about the apocalypse a lot lately, so maybe I am a little doomsday, but I guess what I mean is I'm not terrified at the prospect of...
Well, there's a difference. As I said, there's also a little tongue-in-cheek when you talk about it.
Yeah.
But you're not having social anxiety or a freak out about the state of affairs. So,
Right.
I mean, I, for some reason, have some really strong sense of calm.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure why. I just feel like it's going to be okay. Whatever it is, it's going to be okay. And I think what's, to use the word unifying again, we're all going through it.
Right.
So that's what's amazing. If there's going to be some kind of a change, we're all going to be experiencing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's all going to be over in a couple of months, hopefully. And, the life can go back to kind of how it is. Hopefully we'll all have maybe stronger connections to people and to life itself kind of tuned back in. I think people have gotten a little too social media disconnect. You know what I mean? I think that was going on too much.
And how ironic the amount of social media we're utilizing to feel connected now that so many of us are in isolation. That's really fascinating, because it's become, I think it's become the best part of the tool when people can share information and share time together and play games, etc.
Yeah, but that's not like Facebook or whatever, or Instagram. I mean, to the people actually using FaceTime or Skyping or whatever to talk to each other.
Well,
I think that's
point,
what's kind of lovely. But that's not, I don't think of that as social media. But yeah, it is great too. That's what I was reading, is that everybody's saying, like, one of our friends had said something like, there's either going to be a lot of babies after this or a big divorce rate. Like it's probably going to be like one of the two, because you're forced to spend time with each other and to like really look within. Hopefully people are doing that,
I did go out for a quick walk with my mom. She's here until tomorrow. And I will say I did feel actually a little bit of anxiety, because there were so many people out, and I felt like they were being so oblivious to giving people space and just being aware of... I don't know. That is when I think a lot of why I don't feel anxiety is because I am at home in my own little bubble. And once you leave that isolation, you are forced to contend with people that don't give a shit and aren't being careful. And you don't know how many of them are like really washing their hands and are really taking care to not encounter illness. Like it's unnerving. I mean, I when I'm at home, I feel great.
Yeah.
But I was surprised.
I haven't gone out yet because I've been sick. So I didn't want to get out there and affect people if I had it, because I still don't really know. And I've just checked that I can breathe, until I can. If I can't breathe, then I'm going to worry about it and I'll go to the hospital. But I'm fine
since
now.
the new year, I have been sick like 5 times. So
I know.
I'm like,
it's unusual. I'm sickly, but not like that.
a lot of why I don't want to go out is because clearly my whether or not I've at any point had exposure to it, my immune system is not at its top shape right now. So I don't want to risk it.
I think that's the norm. I read on the Facebook, I've seen where a lot of people have posted that since January, they've been sick. They've had more colds. So I think that it's definitely a common consensus of what's going on. But to go back to what I was saying, it's like I haven't gone out, but Tommy's gone out. And I know he was in Trader Joe's, and what's heartbreaking is you see the older people out and about. And this is especially when people were hoarding and there's nothing in the aisles, even at Trader Joe's. And he said some lady like pushed past some little old lady. Some woman pushed a 65-year-old lady out of the way. Or in her 70s. She was probably in her 70s.
Yeah.
But he said she looked frightened too. So he, made sure he talked to her and stayed away from her. But he still made sure that he at least made eye contact and was saying hi to her and asked her if she was okay, Yeah. And I just think that's horrible.
That's the psychology stuff that I'm talking about. Or when I go out, that's when I start to feel a little unnerved, is because some people just can't handle their shit.
Yeah. He said the vibe is so weird. And then he went out a couple of days ago. Wearing a mask and all that and his gloves and stuff. And he said the vibe in the store was just weird. There was more stuff on the shelves. He said, but he would walk around thinking about, oh, do I need to buy that? And by the time he would come back to it, it was gone. Yeah. And he said, and people, there was just this crazy kind of vibe in the air that you can't really put your finger on, and that's what's scary. That's what's scarier to me than the actual virus is people's mentalities and, that what's the word? The mob mentality.
Or the dog eat dog world mentality. That we talked about that relatively recently. This whole every man is an island, every man for himself. No, people, that doesn't work. We need to have a world-centric attitude during times of crisis like this, especially when it's infecting and affecting the whole world.
Exactly.
This is not fun for anybody, and we have to be aware of that.
No, but I'm still going to order seeds. So just I have a little yard.
I've seen a lot of people with sewing machines that are working on making masks. People are doing their part too. It's not just these selfish people. There's also people reaching out, creating groups on Facebook, for example, all about how can we organize to help people in need. Let's be more neighborly. I've seen a lot of that. So
our neighbor was like, do you guys need anything? I thought it was oh, that's so sweet. We never talked to him. We hardly ever talk to our neighbors.
Yeah. My neighbor upstairs, same. We're checking in on each other.
I love that. Yeah. If I felt well, I would be going out to the people I know that are older, the elderly, and trying to see if they need help with anything.
The challenge is you don't want to risk getting them sick. My mom is totally... she's not only does she have heart disease, but she has asthma and she's all sorts of stuff that she can't be exposed to it. And I'm really terrified to put her on an airplane tomorrow, but... she doesn't want to get stuck here, and she wants to go home to my dad, and she's already been here 25 days. So I think she's probably ready. But, earlier this morning, she was she kind of alluded to well, I might never ever see you again. I was like, Mom. But she's really concerned that her and my dad and my sister might get it. We already think my brother does maybe have it or had it. Because he had all the symptoms of, not all of them, but enough. And he lives in Seattle. If you don't know, my family's up in Washington. So,
and I'm curious how all of you are. We have listeners. I was noticing on our map all around the world. We have them in Australia, in Japan. Hi, Brittany. And Brittany said, our friend Brittany Genet, she said that over in Japan, people are so polite that they're not hoarding. And that they're making sure everybody else has,
That's
enough.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I wish we were like that.
It goes to show that some of the wisdom in that is cultural and not just, you know, human tendency that people can be raised to be generous.
Yeah. So
or vice
I would
versa.
I would like to hear from, you know, some of our listeners that are out in England and Canada and wherever. Like, how is it? Like, let us know. That would be interesting. Like, we can all
how
kind of be a
long
hub
have you
for each
been
other.
quarantined?
Yeah.
What
And
foods
what
are
the
out and when you go to the grocery store?
Do you have toilet paper? You know,
Yeah. Is
I
it
mean,
the same
you know,
there?
I'm curious. Like, we could kind of be a hub for that, and that's kind of the whole point of this anyway. Was we wanted to like be like a hub for like-minded people. And there's my dog. There's Balsam.
He's chiming in. He agrees.
Yes, he agrees. Listen to Balsam.
If you're watching us on YouTube, you might be able to notice my silver strand that's starting to appear. I figure I have the time to try going rogue. We'll see. I might get sick of it and just dye it like usual with henna, but it's kind of fun to experiment. I'm also experimenting with natural deodorant right now.
Which now is the time to experiment with something like that
Exactly.
because, you know.
Once my mom
used to
leaves, she
use-
won't care if I smell.
No, I see you have your little diffuser going on.
Yes, I do.
I have a candle over there, but you can't see it.
The fragrance I'm using is a mixture of lemon, frankincense, and clove.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I have frankincense and lemon. I don't have clove.
Yeah, clove is, I mean, a little bit goes a long way, and it is. It is really nice. It's there's something very warm about it. It makes me feel, I don't know. I guess it kind of used to remind me of the holidays when I first started using it, and now it reminds me of good health.
Really?
Yeah, it just makes me feel like, maybe because it's similar to, my mom has this doTERRA On Guard essential oil, and I don't know everything that's in it, but one of them, it must have cinnamon and clove.
It makes me think about clove cigarettes. You know, when I was young, we would all smoke I would either smoke, well, I was a weekend smoker when I was in high school and actually college. But, because, you know, I don't know, but I'd always smoke like the long brown ones because nobody wanted to bum those. So, you know, so it's kind of funny. But clove cigarettes.
I know I've smoked one or two in my day. And it has orange. The On Guard has orange, which is probably why I was putting citrus in. This
love
smells
orange.
better than my.
Does it?
But I didn't want to use up her, because doTERRA is kind of expensive, and then she has
I like
this other one.
sandalwood. Sandalwood's a scent that I love. And I like frankincense sometimes, but that's strong. But I'm also
very
Catholic.
strong.
I grew up Catholic, so it reminds me a little bit of, you know, Mass.
It reminds me of, you know, frankincense and myrrh and the gifts being brought to baby Jesus.
And Disco's chiming outside. I don't know if
is
anybody
that
can
my
hear that.
cat or your cat?
No, that's my cat. My pets, I can see their shadows pacing in front of the door.
Like, why can't we be in here with you?
I know. What's going on? So what else? What else can we chat about?
Yeah, we definitely talked a lot about, for good reason, we talked a lot about coronavirus.
Corona times.
Yeah, I think we're going to call this the Corona Files.
The Corona Files. That's what I said. Did I say that or did I say Quarantine Files?
You probably said Quarantine Files.
But I like Corona Files.
Either one. We'll call it something like that. I was playing around with like Quarantine Edition. This is the Quarantine Edition. And then you said the Quarantine Files. I was like, I like that too.
Well, it's kind of like the X-Files. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't know.
I mean, it's hard not to talk about it. It's on everyone's minds. It's what's literally thrusting us into a different way of life right now. So it's hard to think about other things. I mean,
talk about a
some
paradigm shift.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be
Right?
forced upon a lot of us. But we talked about wanting to get into some of the what's the word I'm looking for? The
Conspiracy theories?
Conspiracy theories surrounding all of this. But honestly,
There's some
guys, there's so
crazy
much.
shit. There's
And
some crazy shit.
It goes so deep that it is. I don't know that I feel mentally and emotionally prepared to go down some of these rabbit holes with you yet. I feel like I need to do more research.
Well, I know on a skim surface, there's a little bit of, there's so much to talk about actually. But I know that there's definitely this whole thing where they're saying that, I can get behind some sort of evil satanic cult, like, some people are saying there's like a cabal is what they're calling it.
She's
or
not
satanic.
saying she can get behind a satanic cult. Just
No,
to be
I'm
clear,
just saying,
the idea that this is at play, she can get behind that idea.
I can get behind that there's something like that going on.
Yes.
But some of the people that I'm not a Satanist by any stretch of the
God,
imagination.
no.
I
Not
mean,
at all.
no, I'm about as true to the light as you can be.
I don't know that anyone would think that, but just the way you phrased it, I was like, let me clarify.
Oh, yeah. No, thanks. Well, I'm still a little sick, you guys. So there's and I'm still Whole 30. I am so not proud of myself because I want chocolate so bad. But I mean, I am proud of myself, I guess.
I've already done
there.
30 days of it, and I'm still 95% there. I'm still doing no grains.
Do you have a little sugar?
No.
No, good for
Just
you.
fruit.
I'm staying away from that. I'm moving into paleo, but no sugar. So it's still predominantly Whole 30. But
I'm just maybe like once every 3 days doing some sort of like paleo modified thing. But other than that, I'm Whole 30, honestly.
well, maybe that's easier to maintain too for like longevity.
Yeah, but I was having some cravings yesterday. I don't even know what I was craving. Probably like French fries. I also think that, because we are in quarantine, that's a really tough time when you're limited on what food you have available to you to try to do any sort of food modification. But
Yeah.
and that's, what, speaking of that food stuff, I feel really bad for people who don't know how to cook. Like my heart goes out to people who don't know how to like shop in a smart way so that they can make several meals.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the cabal that we were talking about.
Yeah, you want to go back
I didn't
to
get to finish
Satanist?
that.
Get there.
I didn't get to finish that. I can believe that there's this whole theory, this Q thing that some people we know actually, I think, believe
QAnon.
in. Yeah, QAnon. Well, there's a Q and then there's the Anons. I guess that's what they call themselves that follow it. I don't know. I don't want to go down the whole thing. But there's definitely this belief that there is I guess what some people would call the Illuminati, or I don't know if they're calling it something else. I don't know. But it's supposed to be basically they're Satanists that want to rule the world. And some people believe that Q is a military force that is they're taking out all the evil people during this COVID-19 thing. And some people think that COVID-19 is actually a cover for that, which I don't believe that because people are truly getting sick, But and then there's this whole thing that there's all these celebrities that are involved because...
On that point, though, I've also heard people say that the COVID was the bad people, something the bad people sent out to infiltrate, and then it was hijacked by the good guys in order to like turn it on its head and use it against the bad guys. That's something I heard more commonly.
And I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
So I can get behind evil people trying to rule the world. It's just some of the people that they're saying that are involved that are going to go down. Like, I'll say it. Some people think Tom Hanks, they think he's really a Rockefeller in disguise, and that Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah Winfrey, Gwen Stefani, all kinds of people.
And some obvious people like Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, well,
And
yeah.
Epstein and stuff like that.
Yeah. I actually could believe that. I could totally believe that. I don't think Ellen DeGeneres is a bad guy, but I don't know. I guess time will tell, won't it?
Oprah's. I've always looked up to Oprah, so that's a really hard pill to swallow, even as a theory.
It's just fascinating to see some of this going on. I don't know. People really believe that's what's there's all these arrests. I guess I don't know. I couldn't go down that hole.
When it comes to conspiracy theories, they're called conspiracy theories for a reason. But I want to be respectful that there's people that are really passionately believing this.
Yeah.
And so if they've spent the time doing all this research, there's a part of me that's like, okay, I'll hear you out.
Yeah,
I want to be able to
totally.
hear people out. But I'm not just going to dive right in and say everything I'm receiving on this is true.
It's true. No, exactly. It could be real. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can believe in a
crazy
bunch of
shit
people.
happens.
Yeah,
Crazy shit happens.
You guys, I've met some crazy people in my life that are definitely probably part of some of the evil. But I just don't know that I believe everyone they're saying that's involved is part of it. But I actually can believe that there's some evil out there in the world trying to control everything. So I'm curious to see what happens as time progresses.
I think it's important to keep an open mind and to stay alert and to pay attention and be aware that not everything is as it seems. And so it's important to pay attention to these, to information that's swirling around us right now, but to really check in with your gut feeling on things too. Yeah. And I feel like checking in with your gut is different than, like, you got to be careful. It's not just tunnel vision saying, okay, well, that doesn't fit into my current worldview, so it's not possible. You really have to take those blinders off sometimes, because being right, thinking you're right, can blind you to other versions of right, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So people, wake up, people. No, I'm kidding. But just be careful that you're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater as you're saying, no, that's impossible. That's impossible. There's a way to explore new ideas.
I mean, honestly, who knows? I mean, that's something I've learned being out here is that people that you think are, sometimes it's very disillusioning when you meet some of these people that you think so highly of, you know? So, I mean, who knows? Who knows? It's just fascinating how rampant these stories are. So,
well, and just this idea that some people are going to be given the choice while they're being arrested to either die of coronavirus
oh, that's right.
or they can choose to have their name tarnished. Like, there's so much information on this topic, it's really hard to summarize. I'm sure there's got to be podcasts devoted to these topics, because there certainly are threads on the internet.
And if you guys have like true proof, okay, I mean, and if you believe in it, okay too. I mean, I'm just saying, I find it fascinating. I as I said, I don't disagree that some of this could be going on. I'm just not sure all the people.
Well, I think it'd be pretty unlikely for everything online about the topic to be true.
Exactly.
Just because there are conspiracy theories that are probably very accurate does not mean that every one of them is.
Yeah,
and I feel
exactly.
like some people, they start to go down this rabbit hole where they just don't know how to get out of it, and they start to believe everything is a lie. And just use your best judgment, people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's been an interesting effect of all of this, I should say. Side effect of all of this. And what else? What else?
Oh, what do you mean when you say interesting side effect? The which part of it is the interesting side effect?
These and maybe I'm not even using that term right. Sick.
No, I just didn't know what you meant.
Fog in the brain. Just that this has come to the forefront so much. I see it so much, and I don't even follow a lot of. I've started following some of these sites just because I want to see what the hell are they talking about. I'm kind of curious, and like, how does that relate to this? And like, oh well, that's well thought out. I'll give you that. I mean, that's
It does make life feel a bit like a movie, but also, what a weird time. Like, this feels like a movie anyway.
I was gonna say, truth is stranger than fiction. Which, side note, that's a great movie. I think it's called Stranger Than Fiction with Will Ferrell. I think it's Will Ferrell.
Oh, and Emma Thompson is the author.
It is. It in the voice. It's and Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's one of the best movies. We are going to come up with a little meme anyway of like movies to watch during the apocalypse, and like that actually would be. I think you got to keep a sense of humor about yourself with all this stuff.
Yeah, like if you really want to go there, if you want to get into that apocalypse mindset, we have a list of movies for you.
We've got some good ones. I've been trying to get Tommy to watch Contagion, and for some reason he's just not biting on that one.
Really, not biting?
Yeah, not getting into that. Although now he's starting to a little bit. Have you been binge watching anything or?
I mean, my mother is here, so we're watching things that interest her. We watched a lot of American Idol.
That's great.
Project Runway All Stars. That was a big one for her.
Is RuPaul still on there?
RuPaul?
Oh, wasn't he? Project Runway. I think he was.
Not this season. Yeah, Yeah, it was the All-Stars, so it was people from all around the world. And I enjoyed it. It's not like... There's some shows you put on because you want... Maybe you're doing something else and you want it to be predominantly something you hear, which is what's great about like The Voice or American Idol or anything with lots of singing, because you could just like hear it and kind of glance up. But things that are more visual, like whatever that show I just mentioned was. Now all I can think of is RuPaul Drag Race, which is not the show I'm talking about. Anyway, the point being,
Project Runway. I think
Project Runway. It's very visual, and so it's not always my first choice, but I actually really enjoyed watching that with her, and I found I had very strong opinions about fashion.
Do you?
I did, as things were what I liked and what I didn't like, and all that jazz. And all that jazz. How have you been spending your time?
I've been sick, so I've been forcing
that.
I haven't had any energy whatsoever. I'm just now. Today is the first day I actually feel like I could walk down to the mailbox. You know,
Yeah.
I could walk to the end of the thing, to the drive.
So like
I've
movie
been
watching or sleeping?
But a lot of movie watching. I just watched this YouTube original called what was it called? Origin. Not bad. Pretty good. Watching a lot of movies. Some good, some bad. Just taking a gamble.
Yeah.
All right. I'll bite. Let's watch
roll
that
the
one.
dice.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then sometimes it's really painful and they're really bad, but I just got to see how it ends. I've already invested, 30 minutes of my time.
Okay, have you heard of the show on Netflix called Tiger King? Because I feel like everyone's talking about this show.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. It's in Oklahoma, right? The guy's in Oklahoma? Or no, Missouri. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It's in one of those
Missouri
two
sounds
states.
right. I don't know that I can watch it. I put it on and I was having such a strong visceral reaction to
what?
the animals and their situation. I couldn't help it. It was just how I felt. I was like, okay, look, I can see how these people are fascinating. What characters. And that does draw me in. But then seeing like this man wrestling around with like a 400, 500 pound tiger and like getting dragged by the foot by one, or like getting his hand chomped on by it was just making me so uncomfortable. I was like, I can't.
Well,
And
was
then
he
seeing,
abusive or was he loving towards them?
no, he was very loving, but it was
Okay,
just
well, I can handle
it
that.
felt viscerally very wrong. Like seeing a little bear on a leash, like it just didn't feel right. These were majestic creatures, and he had like hundreds of these animals in his zoo. It was just turning my stomach. I couldn't help it. I'm not saying I was trying to make some moral stance on all this. It was just, I couldn't, to me, any interest I had in his personality and finding out what this crazy story is about wasn't strong enough for the turn in my stomach I was feeling watching it. So I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll be able to watch it. But for now, I think you should watch it and let me know. My brother's into it.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
I should be the guinea pig and watch that.
Yeah.
No,
think
I
you'd
haven't
be
watched
fine.
that yet.
You'd be able to handle that.
I think I know
Also-
who they're talking about.
The guy?
Yeah, I think I know the park that they were talking about because I used to road trip a lot with my family growing up from Oklahoma to Missouri, and I think we drove by that all the time. This wire is driving me crazy. I just saw it.
Yeah, it's also another bingy show. Love is Blind on Netflix was an interesting binge.
What's that about?
It's a bunch of people are brought into like kind of like a hotel, if you will. Like the men are on one side and the women are on another side. And there's all these pods with a wall in between. And so they go on dates, but they can't see each other. They can only hear each other. They each are on their own pods with a wall in between. So there's like all these dates going on at the same time. And the experiment is to see if people can fall in love without having ever seen each other. And then after they propose, after people propose to their people and say, I love you and all that stuff, they get to see each other.
Ooh.
And then the next stage of the experiment is they get to live together for a while. And then they go to get married. And at the altar, they either say, I do or I don't. And they don't know until that moment if their person is going to marry them.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's pretty crazy. But
Well,
these
it's
people
better than
fall
The Bachelor.
hard.
Aw.
Some
That's
of
kind
them.
of a sweet idea. It's kind of like The Voice, but dating. Right? At first, because you can't, the blinds in the blind section.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because the Bachelor franchise, the next show, I guess they're doing a singing show where they're coupling people together and seeing if like love and music can happen at the same time.
Oh my God,
Thank
that's
you.
desperation. I'm
Thank
sorry.
you. I was
I
like,
just, I hate shows like that
this.
anyway.
I hate this idea.
I really hate that. I hate people getting up there and being so slutty just to be on television and acting so like, I'm sorry. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I have a very strong opinion about these things.
I mean, not everyone. Okay. There was like this girl, Hannah, from Alabama Hannah.
Alabama?
I really liked her. I really liked her. She ended up being the Bachelorette. I hadn't been watching the show at all, but I saw a little bit of like the Bachelor season 2 seasons ago, the Bachelorette, and then this last Bachelor season. My mom and I watched the rest of it together, and I think I'm over it. I think I'm done.
I think what I'm thinking of is I just always happen to see the ads for it where they're in a hot tub.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
always that's what I'm like, really? All right. And then they try to act all, throw themselves at somebody just to, and act all hot and bitchy or whatever it is that they think is going to get them attention. Sorry.
Yeah. And some
it's kind of the
it is
reality of
just,
that.
like, I don't know, probably how they cast the show. They're probably
Of
casting
course, they
the
do it
show
deliberately.
to get the most drama. I don't
Right.
like the
Well-
drama. What it fascinates me is seeing people really fall in love and really learn how to communicate their
Well, that's sweet.
values, and that
Well,
stuff's
yeah.
interesting to me. That's to me the point of the show. But when you throw in all
Well-
the bullshit, I'm like, ugh, snooze.
Well, side note, when I first moved out here and I was going to all the bars with my friends and stuff and the whatever, I can't, almost every single time we would go out, somebody would approach us to be on like The Bachelor or some show like that. And we're like, no.
Like, pass.
No. Are you single? Are you together? Do you want to be in this? No. No. It was pretty funny. I mean, that happened a lot in the beginning.
It's interesting to imagine whether or not people are trying to date right now, because I wouldn't recommend it.
No,
Like,
there's
get a pen
funny.
pal.
There's a funny meme about that going around. Like, now you actually got to like talk to somebody, Brad. That's what they're saying. Like, no more. I think that's hilarious. We're going to be pen pals now, Brad. I
mean,
think that is so funny.
Give it a go. Be a pen pal.
Actually,
But
talk to somebody.
like-
No swipe left, no swipe right. That's what they were saying. Gotta like,
You gotta
Yeah.
actually, and maybe. Well, I'm sure people are talking to lots of different people at once. Then
right.
they're just going through their Rolodex of messages.
Oh, I can imagine.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I hadn't gone on for a really long time, but I was like, let's see what's happening on Hinge. And I'm going to it right now because there was this guy, very tall, 6'6". Can you imagine?
I'm 5'3.5", 5'4". I think I shrunk, by the way. Because I haven't been doing yoga. But no thanks. That's way too tall for me. I wouldn't.
Can you imagine me with someone 6'6"?
No.
I dated
Actually,
someone who was 6'5" once.
Yeah. It just
It's
seems
very tall. It is very
Yes.
tall.
Which, good for you. I'm just vertically challenged, so I don't, I mean, it's not something I look for. I know you like tall guys.
I do like tall.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help it. I think.
Well, you're taller, though.
Yeah, I'm 5'7", and I'm not like a giant, but I think that as a strong, capable woman, I don't find myself attracted to men smaller than me physically. It just doesn't click for me.
Yeah. That's all right.
Some guys only like chicks with big boobs.
Fake
God
boobs at
forbid
that,
I like
so-
a man that's larger than me.
Exactly.
I don't want
want
to feel like I'm.
What are you thinking?
I don't want to feel like I'm gonna crush someone. If I hug him.
Yeah, exactly.
Can he pick me up? I'd like to think so.
If you guys are actually watching, I was crossing my legs because this chair is not that comfortable for long periods. Like if the way I'm sitting right now,
Yeah.
normally I'm kind of nestled in it. I still have my pajamas on. I've got like these.
Oh, yeah.
I just noticed you could see it.
I
Do
just
you have jeans
realized
on, or do you have?
No, I have pajama pants, but I just realized my my right foot is asleep because I was in like cross legs too. I'm trying to be PC.
Sorry, guys. I just hit the mic again.
Is it politically incorrect to say Indian style? Because I feel like the whole point is like in India they sit while meditating.
I don't know. I can't keep up with any of that anymore.
Well, if I offended anyone, I truly apologize. I'm just trying to say that I'm cross-legged and my foot is asleep. That's all.
I wonder if that is politically incorrect. It probably is. But you don't mean it to be.
No, I don't.
No.
That's that.
Yeah.
Well, are we there?
I think so. We've been talking for, I think,
35
40 minutes, 45 minutes.
I think 35.
No,
I don't.
it's longer than that.
Well, we started. Let me check. I hit my record button right when we started.
Well, I've had a timer on.
Yeah,
It went off.
41 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
So, we bid you adieu. We'll probably have to do this again because we're still in like this lockdown situation in California. Mm-hmm. So we'll probably do it, in our
like this
perspective
for a while.
Homes.
Mm-hmm. It's safer. Because what if I did have it? I don't want you around that.
Well, and I figure I'm not gonna risk leaving my house until my mom is back home because, I don't want to bring something back to her.
Can you hear the guitar upstairs?
I hear something.
Yeah, you guys might hear it. I don't know. My husband's up there playing a song.
Maybe a little bit.
Cool.
Okay, so here's what I'm doing. This ear is connected to my computer so I can speak to and hear Marshelle and have a conversation. This one is connected to my mic, which is right here, so that I can make sure that and I can hear my own voice so I don't feel like I'm underwater.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the headphones. Okay, what I'm doing, in case you're wondering what the hell Marshelle's, because I probably should have explained this earlier. I had the little earbuds in so I could hear Bridget, but then I had the headphones on over that so I could hear myself to make sure I'm not too far away from the mic or whatever, but also it just kind of helps.
That's the other thing.
It started killing my ear, so I had to take one out. I was like,
my audio is not going to be what it usually is. This is a Tascam mic. It's kind of older. It's not, who knows what it's going to sound like when it's all cut together. We're just going to do our best.
But you know what, guys? It's guerrilla times.
Yeah.
What it
We're
is.
going rogue.
Exactly. We're going rogue, man. This is
she's got a
silver
strands.
streak. We were practicing this last night, and we were just going to do an audio podcast, by the way. So we're like, well, let's do it. Let's just try it this way.
Try it.
There was beauty in an audio though, because we didn't have to put clothes on, and we'd have to wear clothes, but
we were naked. We could just be naked.
We're totally just going to be like naked. Foggy. Foggy in the brain. But no makeup and could wear pajamas, but I still kind of have my pajamas on, so.
I mean, we could have still done no makeup and pajamas, but I think...
I look like I don't have any makeup on.
I have not worn makeup in so many days that it was
either.
Hey, let's dress up for this. It might be nice to put on real clothes. And you know what, though? I actually think it's wise to put on real clothes when you're... Mm-hmm. We need to kind of keep some resemblance of routine to stay sane, I think. And I think
agree.
it helps to, make sure you're eating meals regularly and getting dressed and still feeling like a person in the world.
This is something I did want to talk about, was keeping up a positive mind frame during this. Like it goes along with so much of what we talk about. It's your mindset, like how your perception, how you're looking at something. I mean, because this could be the biggest blessing. It could be a complete gift to all of us if we look at it the right way.
And the planet.
And the planet, they were saying, like, when China had shut down, there was no, like, from space, there was no, pollution.
Yeah.
It was insane. It was so clean looking. So, I mean, this is a time for us all to go inward and to, listen and to really talk to your husband or your wife or your friends and to FaceTime. I don't mind being alone, so this doesn't really freak me out. What bothers me, though, is I can't go see my mom because she is definitely immune compromised. But, other than that, And it's a bummer to not get to go see Bridget or have Bridget come over here because I really do enjoy us
know.
being in the studio. But you know, if we got to do it like this for a while, that's what we got to do. And at least you guys still have our little side by side. And if you're watching, and if you're not,
watching us on YouTube, thank you.
yeah, thank you very much.
Go binge us. Go
Yeah,
watch every
exactly.
episode we put up. This is episode 11. Get to
Yeah,
it.
you guys have time. I'm sorry,
You have
but let's
time.
be real about it. I mean, you got some time. Put it on in the background. Make some soup. Learn to cook. Listen to us.
If you follow us
Watch
on
us.
Instagram as individuals, we are posting all sorts of things about how we're spending our quarantine time.
Ugh. Well, I'm going to be a little more. I mean, I was down for the count. I mean, I was like, wow, my throat hurt to a degree I can't even explain for so long. Apple cider vinegar wasn't touching it. It was like increasing it. And I'm like, am I just burning myself now? Like, I was like doing all this. I mean, it was rough.
It worked wonders for me. I
It
don't
did make
know.
a dent.
It's crazy. Like 5 days ago, I had a fever and a sore throat, and I started gargling that apple cider vinegar, and I diluted with water, though, mind you. And it was gone within less than 24 hours. It's really
that usually does. No, I'm going to back you on that 100%. It does usually work. It just didn't touch it. So I increased it, and then I started putting oregano oil in my tea as well, and that's helped. That actually, I think the combo has really made
oregano
a big
oil is like a
difference.
natural antibiotic.
And tastes better than garlic because garlic will work for that too if you mash it and let
Yeah.
it set for 10 minutes, and it activates.
Um,
But I'm not doing honey, so I'm not going to drink garlic tea without honey. I'll tell you that.
whew.
Right? And just the smell. Oh my God. But I can't smell, so it wouldn't bother me at all. But my poor
I
husband.
mean, once my mom leaves, I can do whatever I want.
I know, right? The freedom.
Ugh, I love having her. It's going to be really sad to drop her off tomorrow.
I know. I kind of wanted her to stay with you. I was kind of worried about you being alone, but
I think, yeah, I mean, I'll be fine. I'm pretty used to being by myself, but I just, when she was like saying goodbye this morning, I'm like, Mom, you really think we might not see each other ever again in our lives? Oh my God. Now I'm thinking about
that's awesome.
that.
when I called my dad, he was like just coming back from the store. I'm like, Dad. And he's like, he went to the dentist. I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like going shopping. He loves to do this stuff. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And he has a lot of health issues himself. I'm like, God. I mean, my dad's tough, but come on.
It's not quite as bad over there, but everywhere's getting worse. Everywhere's getting worse.
Yeah,
New
so,
York
like
is
I
so
said-
bad right now.
But like I said, let us know, you guys, what it's like for you. Let's all kind of be in this together. And because we have listeners in France, Spain, England, Japan, Australia,
Switzerland.
Sweden,
Sweden.
Canada.
I'm in Sweden.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all over the United States, which is great. So, New York, Florida, Texas, like all over. It's all over.
Washington,
Minnesota, I think. Washington.
where I'm from originally.
All over I almost said Canada again. All over California. So please let us know what it's like. Hopefully it's not too crazy. Everybody stay safe and don't touch anybody. Don't let them touch you. Don't let them touch you. I saw somebody had a Michael Myers mask on. They're like, not probably good for keeping coronavirus away, but I bet it keeps people away. And I'm like, I thought that was
I love all the
hilarious.
people running around in those like T-Rex costumes.
I love that anyway. I would do that on a normal day. So
How do we not have any of those yet? How do we not own T-Rex costumes?
oh my gosh, I definitely want to do that. That'd be so great.
I just went through all my costumes. I tore my entire bedroom apart. I did so much deep cleaning. I even went into my storage in my down in my carport and like pulled everything out. And
Wow.
I really, I guess I had a lot of energy a couple days ago. Spring
Yeah, I'm going to do that
cleaning,
now that
man,
I'm feeling
feels,
better,
It
but-
feels good. It feels good. I had to take stock of my emergency kit. I wanted to know what camping gear and emergency stuff I had on hand. I have some canned goods. They're mostly expired. My mom's convinced that I could still eat them, but
Depends on how long they've been expired.
a couple years. What I've
guess in a
read
pinch.
is that if they're not bulging or rusting, that it's probably just a loss of quality and not necessarily like a loss of, like, it's still viable food. But also a lot of the canned goods at the stores where I'm at are out right now, so I can't really replace it. So I might as well not throw it away, because in case of an emergency, I'm
just
going to
never
be eating
know.
that shit. You
Yeah,
never
exactly.
know.
You never
Like,
know.
look,
We don't know
I'm
what's gonna happen.
actually allergic to beans. Like, I get a rash. But you better believe I'm going to eat some beans if I have no other choice. I'll just have a rash.
Tommy bought all these like navy beans and stuff. I'm like, what? He's like, well, yeah.
He's not wrong. But why
No,
do I feel
no.
like he bought a 40-pound bag of navy beans?
He bought like 3 of those bags about like, you know.
And why navy?
Yeah.
Why not pinto or black? No, I'm
No.
kidding. Navy
It wasn't even
it
really
is.
beans I like. They're navy beans. I don't really like navy beans. I'm like, could you at least buy beans I like? Like, I don't. So hopefully.
He's
shit
like,
doesn't hit
woman,
the
I'm
fan.
providing. You eat it."
Exactly. Exactly. It's exactly what would happen.
Yeah, I have
Better
a
than dog
massive
food.
bag of rice. You better believe if shit hits the fan, I'm going to not be Whole30 anymore, and we're
Yeah,
eating
no.
grains. Like,
No.
screw this whole
Well,
low-carb bullshit. Like, I will eat
gonna-
whatever I can.
Well, I'm going to buy seeds. So hopefully we can still buy those. So,
Well, and there's ways to plant, like like you go through your lettuce. Once you get to the bottom, you can like stick that in dirt and it'll start to regrow. Like I always keep my chives in a little jar by the window with some water at the bottom and then just cut them as needed. So there's little things you can do with stuff you probably already have. Maybe plant some tomato seeds.
oh, true.
You
Very
know,
true.
plant some.
Very true.
There's seeds inside of bell pepper. There's lemon seeds. You know, give it a go. You won't get a viable avocado plant anytime soon, but that's still fun to experiment with.
I made some
plant
avocado pudding last night. That was pretty good.
Ooh, with chocolate.
It's very Whole30.
Yum.
Yeah, cacao and then dates and a little almond milk.
Yeah,
It's quite good, gotta say. Well,
we're
on
getting
that
off
note,
now.
yeah, we are definitely getting off now.
Yep, it's time.
Yeah, but subscribe.
Love you, Marshelle.
Love
Because
you,
it's
Bridget.
what's weird is we're signing off too. Really.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, so now on to editing. So
On to editing to get this up by midnight tonight.
exactly.
Because
All right, you guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you. Talk to you next Wednesday, and keep listening. Keep subscribe. I don't know
Yeah.
what to say. Yeah.
subscribe, follow
Please,
us,
do.
seek us out. We're cool
Yeah.
chicks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Follow and be entertained.
Yes. All right. All right. Well, I love you.
Mwah.
All right. Bye, you guys. Love you guys too.
Whoops.